Well, how you doing, folks? Um, Packing up here. I'm leaving in a day. I'm heading over to the east coast of Florida to start the Ocean to Lake Trail, 68 miles, something like that. Going with a bunch of folks. One of the few times a year that I go in a group, but I do occasionally enjoy it. It sounds like a good group of people here. We're gonna have a good time. 5 days on the trail. Um, we have a now. I'm going to show you how I'm going to store my food on this particular trip, and you can adapt this to probably a few trips that you go on where there are no bears. This is a way to secure your food from critters, not bears. So especially down south here and along the east coast, there are spots where there are just no bear, but you have chipmunks, you got raccoons, you got squirrels, those mice. Those are your biggest problems. And even if you hang your food, they will still get to it. So this is something that I came up with. I'm doing it on this trail, and I'm saving about a pound and a half over my beer canister, which is overkill for this particular trip because we're basically going to be in a swamp. So we just have gators and snakes and rodents to worry about. No bears in this section anyway. So let me show you what I did, and you can take it from there, either take it or leave it. But another little tip here for you. Okay, let me turn the phone around and show you what I've done. Okay. Oh. This is my BV 500. This holds approximately 6 days of food, sometimes 7, depends on what I'm packing in there. And this is my newest bag, my newest critter can, all right? Keeps dogs and squirrels and chipmunks and raccoons from getting at your food. So this comes in at 2.5 pounds. This comes in at 1 pound. It's a steel can. Actually, my grandkids gave me, this is a tub of popcorn that you can get. You can buy this at Walmart. So I didn't throw the can out because I knew eventually I was going to have a use for it. And I found it. So this is what I'm putting my 3 days of food in to keep the critters out, because especially there's a couple of nights there aren't going to be any trees. We're just going to be camping out in the open. I think the first night we got to camp on the dike somewhere around Lake Okeechobee, because we've just had a huge rainstorm. As you can see outside, it's still kind of drizzly, but that area had about 5 or 6 inches of rain, so some of the camping areas are going to be flooded. So we're going to be looking for higher ground to camp out at. This is going to be an awesome trip. I'm really looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of little challenges that we're going to have to overcome. But let me show you what I did here. Let me get rid of the BV. Now, again, this was 2.5 pounds. This is 1 pound, okay? So let me get rid of this. And let me show you what I did here. It's basically just a steel can. And it's got it has like a locking lip on here. And so when you put this lid on, it actually snaps into play. But what I also did is I drilled 3 holes. Let me get this tape off here. I put tape on here because I didn't want the screws to rub up against my pack, because this will be inside my pack. Let me just peel that off for a second here. I'm having trouble with one hand, so let me, oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So what I did is I have three holes, one here, and one over here. And I have these little screws that has it's not hexed, it's just a straight. And it's a quarter fits right in there perfectly. So you can use a quarter as your little screwdriver to undo this. But basically it screws right in. All right, so what you want to do is you want to put the lid on here. Snap it in place. Line up the holes. What I did is I used a little tape here to make sure that this cap lined up with the bottom, okay? Because and you just, I lift up this little tab. Again, this is just to keep this here from rubbing up against on your in your backpack. You don't want to be putting a hole in it. And just screw those in, all three. And no raccoon, I mean, no critter, even a coyote, they're not getting in this can. They cannot get in this can. Now a bear, that's another thing. This is not a bear canister. This is a critter canister. I can't stress that enough. This is just another way, because the mice, you people know, mice will go through your tent. They will go through your backpack. You know, you spent $600 on a tent. You spent $300 on a backpack. That's the last thing you want, is a little critter eating holes in all your gear. So you can just get a little can, put it outside your tent, and they can go around here all they want. They're not getting in there. What I'm also doing is I'm also putting my food. I got these bags at Gossamer Gear, but you can get them anywhere. They're odorless bags. They're heavy-duty, odor, smell-proof bags. They're only like, depending on the size, 80 cents to $1 per bag. So I got these from Gossamer Gear. They seem to be a little heavier. So I'm going to also, I have 2 bags, and they sit right in here nicely. So I'll load it. I'll put the bags in there. I'll load it, and I'll show you what it looks like all loaded up. This is basically 3 days of food. I'm not that fussy on packing, but you probably would be easy to get 4 days of food in here. No problem at all. Okay. So let me pack this up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is. The 2 bags are in there. I don't even know what this came from. This is a little bag that I had for something. And that's the bag I'm going to store the 3 screws and a quarter in this little bag. So in my travels, I'm not going to put the screws in here until at night. When I retire at night, then I'll put the screws in here. But during the day, I'm just going to put the lid on here so that I can get at snacks and stuff during the day while we're hiking. So that's what I've come up with for storing this. But yeah, this here just snaps right on there like this. Line up the 2 arrows that I have on there. Push that down. Put my little tape over the edge to keep the little burr from rubbing up against my pack. And that's it. That's my critter-proof canister. But yeah, this will save me from having to have them. I will have no food in my pack and no food in my tent because where we're going to be, again, there's no options to hang until we get into the heart of this trail, and then we'll be in canopies. We'll have a few trees here and there. But a little something else, I'm showing you what I'm doing here on this particular trip. Obviously I'm not going to take this on the Appalachian Trail. This is specifically for the shakedown that I'm doing on this particular trail down here in the south. The bear canister, I'm still 50-50 on that. I'm really leaning on taking it. If I can get my pack down, I got a new pack. I'm not going to go with the Gossamer Mariposa 60. It was giving me shoulder issues, so I'm going back to my ULA. I'll show you, it's all packed right there. This is the circuit, the ULA circuit. I have the Catalyst. I really like it, so I decided to go back to ULA. It's a little smaller pack. It will handle what I need to do on the AT, and it only weighs 6 ounces more than the Mariposa, so I'm not really sacrificing a lot of weight. But it's the Mariposa was creating a physical issue for me. So anyway, I'll get into that later. I want to put a few days on the trail. I'm taking that on next week's trip. So I will give you a review on that particular ULA model when I get back. Hopefully that pack is my last piece of my puzzle that I'm trying to put into place. Okay. Talk to you people later. All right, bye.